Welcome back to the Be Revolutionary Podcast. I am your host, Andrew Perry. This is the podcast where we interview realtors and we teach you how to revolutionize your business. We've got a very special podcast for you today. We've got Evan and Jessie Macdonald from Mac Inc. Thanks for coming in, by the way.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Now, I was going through everything, stats, your businesses, your titles. You got a lot of them. So I wrote them down. Hope you guys don't mind. So you guys are in the top 10 realtors in the Niagara region. We've got some pretty unbelievable numbers here. Over the past 2 years, you guys have had the highest average sale price in the entire Niagara region. That's crazy, by the way. You've put together more deals on the water than anyone else, one including with me. You guys remember that?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. You sold the most expensive house in Niagara-on-the-Lake and St. Catharines. Last year, you had 3 of the top 5 sales in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and you recently just put a deal together in Port Dalhousie for $6.6 million. Where do these types of numbers come from? How do you even get involved in something like that? Like there's not a lot of sales over $3 million in the Niagara region, let alone 6.
Yeah, it's definitely we've had the last couple of years has been pretty wild. I think for sure, like, we enjoy that market. It's our niche market where that's the spot where we want to be. We're building custom homes. We've been flipping homes for a long time. It's where we started. I don't even know how many times we've moved, but we'd renovate our house and sell it and move into another one and renovate that and just kind of bouncing around. So we really like that luxury market. It doesn't necessarily have to be like luxury. It's not like we just everything we want to do is just expensive. It's more that it's like we like unique properties. We both love the water. Her family lives on the water. Our family lives on the water. We live on the water. Like, that's for sure like the one thing for me that I just absolutely love. Like, everything about the water. That's like our happy place where you can relax and just kind of like all the stress of the day goes away. So I think that's what really has drawn us to that market. But then the nice thing is like some of the people that we meet in that side of the business, like, it's not even work anymore. Like, it's just, it's fun. Like, it's, everybody's running, some sort of unique business, or, they're entrepreneurs in one way or the other, and so you're meeting really cool people, and the conversation is really cool.
And so are you using a lot of the renovation background to help maybe walk these clients through almost every piece of the process?
Yeah. Well, I think the one thing is that, especially from the builder side, is understanding, the integrity of the build, knowing the cost of the build, knowing if you can even get your hands on the materials. So I think that we have a little bit more knowledge in that sense as we're going through. So we're justifying the price to the clients. And then we're telling them whether we think the listing's overpriced based on even just replacement costs. We look at it from different angles. So I think that sets us a little bit apart, where not every realtor per se could do that. And then, of course, going back to the water, just having now built a couple houses on the water and going through the process, we just understand the rules of building, the rules of the water, what's grandfathered in, what's not. And again, I think that's setting us apart because we really understand the whole process. And yeah, just like Evan said, for sure, meeting really, really unique individuals. I've always been extremely inspired by just anybody succeeding in life, whatever avenue that is. And it's been really neat to see a lot of self-made people and where they've gotten themselves to in the process. It is very inspiring, and it's been awesome to kind of hear their stories and how they did that. And I think no matter what, when you witness that, it raises yourself up and your expectations of yourself, and then it's just this trickle effect.
Well, I think that's great. And I think what you said is we have a lot of knowledge because you guys have tons of experience building on the water. And, like somebody might come from out of market and they might buy a $6 million property and then find out that you can't do an Airbnb here. Yeah. So having the local knowledge, and especially somebody who's been through it, I would imagine would give you guys a huge advantage, right?
Yeah, and we actually are starting to get a lot of calls from other realtors now. Yeah. Because they're calling us saying, I got a client from wherever and they're looking to get on the water. we've seen that you guys have done a ton of deals on the water and you're building these houses. And so then we're an open book. Like we don't see this as competition. We love it. So I say to them, like, come on down here with your clients. I'll take you on a tour, show you guys the different types of waterfront we have here. Cause that's one thing that people don't realize. A lot of people call and say, I want to be on the water. I want to be in Niagara on the lake.
Yeah.
You don't know, like, there's so much more to it, right? Like every water view is different. Like, do you want sunsets? Do you want sunrises? Do you want to get do you want a view of Toronto? Do you want a beach that you can walk down in? Do you prefer to be up high? Do you prefer to be right on the water? How far do you want to be from the water? Like, there's so many little intricate details. And so when we're dealing with waterfront clients, we go for, like, we have like jet ski tour, boat tour, helicopter tours. Like, we're doing like over the top stuff so people fully understand what type of water they want. And then we can find them that property. Like, we had last year a client, we showed them, I don't even know how many houses, maybe had to have been like 15 houses on the water. Every time something came up, and it was over a year, the process, but they had to be in Niagara Lake and they had to be on the water. And, but everything they were saying kind of wasn't that, And so one day we just said, you know what, let's take them for a drive to another property. And it was in Point Abino.
Yeah.
And nice, beautiful spot, but it's on Lake Erie. It's not Niagara on the lake, right? And showed them it, fell in love, bought it on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes people don't even know what they actually want. They
Right.
think they want something, but they don't know. Right. So that's why we started doing these tours. So now, like, we've done it with other people's clients. We typically do it with our own clients, but bring them down, give them a tour of the area, and have them fully understand like every aspect of living on the water down here.
I really like that. Because it's funny because a lot of realtors that I know will, especially in the first few years, will kind of, a buyer will say, well, yeah, I like it, but, I don't feel like the walkway was, showed the property well, or I don't like the gardens or whatever. And then a realtor would just be like, okay, sure, no problem. Let's go see another one. As opposed to saying, as stepping up as the professional and offering solutions as opposed to just, at the beck and call of the buyer, so to speak. Yeah. So anyways, I wanted to touch base on something else, by the way, which I saw just this morning. So it's a good thing you guys came on today because you guys were featured in the Buzz magazine.
Yes.
That was awesome. Congratulations. That's really cool. I loved it. What I want to talk about, because since we're on the topic of waterfront properties, was that there's a property of yours featured in that magazine, right on the water. Tell me about that, because you've got a lot of unique specs, so to speak, about this property. So what's new and exciting with that build?
So the house we're building right now on the water, it's first house in Niagara to have a rooftop swimming pool. That's all. That's like obviously the icing on the cake, I guess. That's the big one. So we're really excited to do that. Cool feature. We've got, an elevator that obviously goes from the basement to the rooftop patio. So 40-foot elevator shaft, glass front on the elevator. So like, as you ride the elevator, you've got a view on every floor that sees right out to the water. We're trying to take it to another level. I'd love for there to be a market for $20-30 million houses here, because we could just go crazy. But yeah, like, we're putting in like a jet ski lift there. So this is designed to be like, we get so much of our motivation and designs from traveling. Like, we love to travel. We've been to, I don't know, like 40 countries or something. And it's all of the ideas come from living in a resort. Like, that's kind of the goal when we build a house, is that, you walk in that front door, close it, behind you is life. And then, like, you're in your oasis, and we're doing massive glass. Like, this house is 40% glass. So you see the water from just about everywhere. Saunas, steam rooms, movie theaters, and it feels like you're not at home. Right. And you know what, if you work hard and you sacrifice 20 years of your life to get into a house on the water, that's the way I feel like that's how it should feel. Mm-hmm. It should feel like you're at a resort. It shouldn't feel like you're at a home.
So then, is this a collaborative, workspace for you guys? You're partners in real estate, you're partners in other businesses. Do you guys come together and, decide what's going to go into a house, or, how the designs might work?
Oh, yeah. Well, ultimately, like, Evan definitely takes the lead on the builds. I like to have input as well, especially with more like the finishes.
Yeah.
But we do discuss a lot about kind of the ideas of it. Even Evan will basically brainstorm up what he wants to come out as the final product, and then he gives it to the architect where he basically puts his vision to life that makes sense based upon all the regulations. But yeah, it's basically hitting all the boxes, like you said, of all the lifestyle elements of the house, which are the most essential part for us.
Yep.
And yeah.
But you're turning it, from, I know Revel likes to say we don't just sell houses, we sell lifestyle. But I would like to take that one step further. It's like Mac Inc., we don't just sell houses, we sell experiences.
Yeah.
Because that's what it sounds to me. But speaking of the builds and everything like that, I want to touch base just quickly on some of your other businesses. So you've started, and I had to write this down again because I can't believe this. It's crazy. So you've started and own a bunch of other businesses, right? So you've got, I'm just going to run through this here. You own 2 Revel offices and run them, St. Catharines, Niagara on the Lake. Complete Plumbing, which I just hired. They came to my house on yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah. Parts coming in 2 weeks, so I'm excited about that. Complete Stucco, so that's a new one for me. I know you guys did you guys do this building, obviously?
Yeah.
Yeah, so awesome job. And I didn't even know you could do that, for one. You got a property management company, Level Developments, which is, your building company. You're building custom homes and are about to start a massive project in St. Catharines, over 200 units. How is this possible, guys? How do you have time for all of this? I don't understand.
Well, good support team, and I think loving what you do. It's funny because we were at the Buzz conference not too long ago, and people were talking a lot about not answering their phone, and just kind of they set times when they don't answer their phone.
Yeah.
And I was listening, and I was like, man, there's never a time when I don't answer my phone. And it's when we're sitting down for dinner, we're doing things together as a family. Yeah, of course, there's little windows where you just your phone's on silent or whatever. But I feel like a lot of people do these businesses at a necessity or only because of the money.
Right.
And it's they're bothered by it. Right. And these were successful people. And so it's never been that way for us. Mm-hmm. We answer our phone and it's we're excited. It's these projects are passion projects. Almost all of what we do, we have fun with it, and we do it together as well, right? Yeah. So that's one thing that's been a huge factor for us. We met in wrestling, and then kind of started all these businesses together, and have always worked together, and have always recognized that it's a lot of sacrifice. But we have an incredible support team. I think that I'm a bit of a workaholic, and I'm always going. Jessie's super organized and just kind of keeps me, organized and showing up
on time
where I need to be. And then we have incredible people in the office.
Yeah.
Jillian, Crystal, Jaden, Todd, I could go through the list, and then each company has an incredible manager running it. Jamie, our plumber, running the plumbing company, and Dan, Isaac's on the service guy. Yeah. He's running the service side of things on plumbing. And so we have really, really good team behind us doing key things. And without that, it surely is impossible.
And that's exactly why we say Team Mac. Team Mac, yes, is the two of us, and it's been that way since 2005 or whenever it was that we started dating. Mm-hmm. But that Team Mac, whether people think that they're part of our team, they are part of our team.
Right.
I've always felt it to be that way. Another reason why Revel obviously stuck out to us with that team atmosphere. But as he's saying, I think that the reason why it's able to go too is that with our competitive background, it isn't just work. It is it's a win when we get a deal together, or it's a win when we accomplish something and we attain those goals. So I don't know. I guess we just take so much joy in accomplishing what we set out to do. And so, yeah, it makes it less about work and just more about the enjoyment of the process.
So then at this point in your career and your lives, it's not about, the work. It's about the relationships and seeing a project through to the end, right?
Well, for sure on the project side, those are all of course, you want to make money. I surely don't want to lose money.
That's right.
But the process of it, these are very tricky, especially building on the water. The regulations are so tight. It's a process. But we start from I start from the outcome. You know, like we buy these lots, and we'll go as a family, like, and what we're buying is these old cottages and lots and stuff like that, where we're tearing stuff down and trying to like get a sense of what it is. But we'll go as a family and have a picnic when it's a dump, and just like sit there and kind of soak in the sunset and see where the sun sets, and you know, just kind of really get a feel for the property, and then work from there and be like, you know what, this is where the bedroom needs to be, this is where the kitchen needs to be, this is where the living room needs to be, this is the angle of the swimming pool, things like that, and like that I take a lot of joy in, right? That design process. And the houses that I've designed, I've designed them backwards, like from the inside, how I want it to function and feel, and the way that it makes you feel like living in it. And then the exterior just kind of forms around it. Mm-hmm. Where like the houses that we build are a modern looking home, but like the exterior result is irrelevant. You know, like I still got to make it look decent, but it's not my main focus. Definitely 100%. Like my focus like is the lifestyle of it and the feel that it gives.
Interesting. I like that, because you're drawing the inspiration from the experiences felt at each individual lot. Because as you said, you know, some have beaches, some are elevated, some have break walls, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's very interesting to me. But I want to talk about, you said that you guys were competitive. You met back in 2005. That was at Brock University?
Yep.
Yeah, actually, it might have even been the end of 2004. I can't even remember now, but...
Yeah, this is funny, because I was avoiding answering that one because I didn't want to get in trouble to say the wrong date, and then she'd be like, oh, you don't even know, you don't love me. So
Podcast's over, bye.
Yeah, I'm out of here. So I think she messed it up. I think we met before that, probably 2003.
Well, we met, 2003 we met, and then I think we dated like a year after that, after you chased me around for a full year. Yeah, I finally surrendered.
To be honest, who's chasing who here?
So, and you know, that obviously Brock University, so that was for the wrestling program?
Actually, if you want a really fun fact,
yeah, I do.
When I was in university, I had an Evan McDonald poster on my wall.
Are you serious? Like that was, you guys went that far to have your own posters?
Well, yeah. So, I like obviously we both went to Brock, because Brock has a great wrestling team.
Yeah.
If you want to compete in wrestling in Canada, there's a handful of spots to do it. And Brock is one of the main places, so that we chose Brock. We both moved. I came from Ottawa. Jessie came from Windsor, and we had full intentions of moving back home after we were done here.
Yeah.
What was the question? I forgot now.
Oh, poster.
Oh,
posters.
Yeah. So I was in university and in 2004 I went to the Olympics, and so like the university had these posters made.
That's amazing.
Of like the athletes. So like,
how can we get one of those?
Yeah.
I probably still have one. It would be pretty funny to get my hands on.
Your dad has one.
Yeah, I think it's in the garage.
His dad has one in the garage.
In the garage?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was hanging in my dorm room, or whatever you call it.
Yeah, and she pretends,
drawing some inspiration
I was
for
chasing
yourself.
her.
Yeah, that's amazing. Interesting. Yeah, I think we definitely have to get our hands on that.
Yeah.
All right, so you know, we talked about the poster. I want to know kind of how you got there, because you know, you guys are realtors. You're kicking butt in the luxury space. You're running a bunch of businesses. You know, let's kind of talk about how you got here. All right. So I'm sure most people wouldn't know this unless you had an Evan McDonald poster on your wall. But you guys met wrestling, as you said. You know, this is crazy. Let me just run through some stats here, guys. So between the two of you, you've won over 20 national championships. Represented Canada at countless international competitions, including the Pan Am Games, the Commonwealth Games. Was that the one from Prince Harry? Is that Commonwealth?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
The World Championships and the Olympic Games. Evan, you had multiple top 10 finishes in the world, while Jessie is one of the 5 women in Canadian history to have been crowned a world champion. And this all started at Brock University when you guys met. So go in. How is this possible, guys? This is crazy.
Well, both of us had the kind of that dream in high school, I guess. We were both like found ourselves on the wrestling team. I don't even know how that happens. I was playing football and hockey and everything else. And then the wrestling coach was like, man, you got to come wrestle. And so I gave it a try, had some success, and then liked it. And then before I knew it, you know, had the dream of going to the world championships, competing at the Olympics, all that. And so just, I was never really like great at most things. Like I just had to work hard to get there. And I always found that like when I started anything, I would be like average or like decent at stuff, right? Like I rarely do I do anything and I'm just like absolutely terrible at it, but like I'm never really that good. And then I just typically outwork people and just get obsessed with things. And then I just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And that's kind of was what it was with wrestling, is that when I started, all these guys were ahead of me and I just slowly chipped away at it. And, before I knew it, I was on the national team and competing for Canada. And just most times when I would win matches, like people just quit. It wasn't even that like I beat them because I was that much better than them.
Yeah,
I
just outworked them.
I just outworked them, right? So that's kind of been what's worked for me, not only in sport, but in business and in life, is that, I just work longer hours than everybody. I just put more time in. I just don't stop. And when I've put my mind on something, I just kind of get obsessed and plow at it, right?
That's awesome. And then Jessie, what about you? I mean, how did you get to that level? You had to have wrestled before, Brock?
Yeah, so I started in grade 11 in high school. And again, it was one of those accidental, like it was actually more of a joke going to join the wrestling team. I was in other sports, but definitely had nothing martial art or any type of background there. And basically my high school wrestling coach was one of the most influential people in my life. He was like another dad to me. And basically I had the same dream of basically being the best I could. And the one thing that I always love to tell, especially younger generations, is if you were into sports in high school, you knew OFSA. And if you were OFSA, you were like the OFSA world champion, and it was a big deal. And I never won OFSA. I was always second best, third best, and it hurt. And so, like Evan said, it was like the work ethic. People were definitely better than me, but ultimately I put in more time, and it wasn't just more time on the mat. It was, sports psychologist. It was working on my nutrition. It was making sure I was getting enough sleep, like lifting coaches, doing hot yoga, all these different things. So like there was not one stone unturned when I would go into a tournament where I felt like I was unprepared. I felt in my soul I had to do everything to prepare myself. And ultimately all that can lead to that is basically success. And that's the same exact concept we have in business, is where if you put your whole heart and soul into something and you're dissecting where you fail, like if we go to like a listing presentation and we don't get it, that's fine. We're okay with that. Everybody fails, but we call and I want to know why. You tell me, like I want to know where did we fail that you didn't like what we pitched to you, because we want to be basically the best we can be, and I think that's a good thing to kind of strive for. So
it doesn't happen that often. And when it does, I'm sure people are shocked that we call them, because like I'm shocked. I'm like devastated whenever I lose at anything. So
well, it just means that you're going on enough. If you're winning every listing, it just means you're not going on enough. But I do the same thing, because it's important to find out, the feedback that is, because let's face it, if it's not always about commission. There's got to be maybe you weren't on your game that day. Do you guys, how does conditioning work, let's just say in the real estate space? Because as you were mentioning, it's very important to, become flexible, doing hot yoga, having good nutrition for stamina, this, that. Is it just as important in the business world too?
Like physical fitness?
Maybe not doing hot yoga, but staying in good
physical
shape.
Fitness, I can tell you 100% that it does. So after I retired from wrestling and was focusing completely on business, I would go, like we have a nice gym at our house. It was like, that's kind of like one of the big things we build in every house that we have, like right away. It's like we have a sauna, a steam room, a gym. Like those are like musts for us. And so we're every morning, like right now I wake up every day at 4:00 and do my workout and then go to work. And so I've always done that. And after I retired, I went to go I remember, like, this memory is like awful, but I went to go work out and I couldn't do it. Because I was like, the day before I made the decision, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done competing. I woke up every morning with the dream and the goal of being the best in the world at something. And then I would go down into the gym and I just couldn't do it. I was like, I turned on the treadmill, started moving. I'm like, what's the point?
What's the point?
Turned it off. And then I went and started doing some weights and I was like, all right, might as well do chest. Everybody likes chest day. This will make me happy, right? So I lay down, start doing bench. And I'm like, man, like it was almost like I couldn't push the weight. And it was like, well, I was warming up, right? And my soul was like, I can't do this, right?
Yeah.
So then I put it down and I was just like, I just left. And then I didn't really work out for a couple years. Like I always kind of found myself back in the gym because more than anything, I just didn't want to like get in terrible shape.
Yeah.
But I got in pretty terrible shape by my standards, I'd say. And like, it just, I didn't have the same energy. I didn't feel good about myself and like, didn't have that same like confidence where you like just feel good. Right. And so I was like, man, a couple years ago, I was like, I got to get back in shape, and just like pretty much haven't missed a workout in a couple of years, just getting back at it. But I'm doing like hard intervals on the treadmill again and stuff like that. And just, it just makes you feel good. Right. And it's this thing where like the morning starts by kind of like kicking your ass physically.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm working out hard in the gym, lifting weights and running and stuff like that. And then it's like, you just have this energy and this drive where like you can go into the day and you already feel like you've accomplished something. It's like that positive first step that gets you going.
Well, I think it's like you've already won the negotiations with yourself every morning, because not every morning I'm sure you want to get up, right? Yeah. So if you've, already beat that one fight of the day, you're just on to the next. If you're coming into the next with a loss, you're not as motivated to push through, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, Jess, you're probably worse than me even. Like,
I can't function if I don't work out. Like I legitimately, like, they're for sure, like they say, there's endorphins that are released. They also say that there's like a runner's high. I would do much better in my day and be more productive if I lacked an hour or two of sleep to get my workout in than if I were to sleep in. Because it's what, like you said, it sets the tone for the day. You've already been lazy. You've already slept in.
Yeah.
Like your schedule's off. And some people like to work out at night. I'm not saying that you have to work out in the morning, but I guess when you've also, like when we were training for wrestling, we were training 3 times a day, like 6 days a week.
So getting one workout for you is just, that's
easy. It's like you can get it done. And honestly, they're for sure is health benefits. And then, you're going in more energized. Yeah, you're feeling good. I mean, you're not feeling fatigued and things like that.
I definitely, I feel like my mind is like sharper.
Yeah.
Like I also like in my workouts, I also feel like I'm getting like, it's opening me up to like think and to like, like my brain starts working. You wake up in the morning in a bit of a fog, and what I do is have a sauna and a warm up and then start doing some sort of cardio, then weights. But I feel like the fog lifts, and then, man, like by the time like I leave for work, it's like I'm in. Like,
and you've already started goal setting.
Yeah.
Because you're already like in your workout goal setting and literally competing against yourself and trying to make yourself better.
Yep.
Once you have that mentality, you're going in, and every time it's like you're trying to break your own records. So it's all self-imposed. It's not like.
Do you guys have like rep or weight goals or anything, similar to like you would in business goals? Or do you write it down on a big whiteboard or something?
She does. She's definitely like super goal driven, and still she still competes in races. We're going to marathons all over the world. Like where did we go to? Lots in the States. But where was the one we went? Ireland. Went to Ireland.
Yeah.
We do it as a family too. It's a lot of fun. I run around cheering her on. I'm not a runner. I run like 20, 25 minutes of intervals. That's like how I do cardio basically.
I do my 10,000 steps. That's my cardio.
Yeah. But as from like a goal setting perspective, it's that one I struggle with too, because like where I think Jess, you're fortunate because you have running where like it's like you're still pushing the boundaries, where like me, like I'll never be like where I was, right? So I'm 40 now. I'm not going back to when I was 25, 30 years old competing on the national team at like the peak of my fitness. Like it's just not, the human body doesn't go backwards like that. So you still have goals but mine are like maintenance and health goals, and more to like how I feel. Because I can't even really lift heavy weights anymore, just because like I just find it hurts me.
Well, for me, it's like my goal is just to be able to maintain a life of sustainability where I don't have to worry about dieting for the rest of my life. I just,
Absolutely.
I just mark everything down. But from a weight perspective, I always know, okay, my goal is 15 reps at 40-pound chest. And by my fourth set, I would hope that I can reach that 15. If not, I still mark it down the true rep. So it might be 12.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't work out without marking how many I did,
Yeah.
or at least striving for something.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
The sense of accomplishment, just checking it
Yeah.
off.
I do
Yeah.
the same thing. Like
Yeah.
that. It's
Like
just that I used to do
A
like
nap or something
I used to try for like crazy
to increase the
maximums,
weights or something.
right?
Yeah.
So you go through these different training cycles, but the goal was to get a little more explosive, to get a little bit stronger, to get a little bit faster, and like make
Yeah.
those little changes when you're competing at the highest level. Like every little like micro millimeter matters. You know what I mean? And so it's like you want everything, and so we were constantly doing max everything, trying to figure out where you could be better. Where like now it's more like that, where
Yeah.
you've got like a big chunk kind of goal, where it's like 5 sets of 15 at this weight with perfect condition, perfect
Yes.
technique, and you're not taking a risk to have some power, right? Where like in
Yes.
the past, it was all risk, and because of it, like got a bunch of surgeries and other issues to
Yeah.
deal with, right? So it's, but also like the one thing I would say that came from sport that's really like benefited us the most in business is that like to have something so young that mattered so much to you and then have it just end is like almost like traumatic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like you wake up every day and there's this dream of like, I want to be the best in the world, and we were doing it together, and it was like this like ultimate passion.
Yeah.
And then you hit an age where you can't do it anymore and it's done. And so it was like, all right, well, man, like that sucks. But life is that. Life is these like chunks of like opportunity, right? And so at that chunk, we had the opportunity to be great at sport, and that's gone. And so now we have this chunk where we can build a family and businesses and a lifestyle, right? And that's fleeting too.
Yeah.
Like we don't have much
Yeah.
time left here. And so not that I want to wish my life away, but also I'm very, very aware that this chunk only has so much life. I can only work this hard for so long. I can
Right.
only run these businesses for so long. Your brain only has like the ability to handle the amount of tasks that I'm handling at this point for so long. That's just the reality of the human body. So like we're our goal is to set ourselves up for that next chunk.
Yeah.
So enjoy this chunk, enjoy what you have. And I say that all the time, because Jess would often ask me like, what do you want in life? Like, because every time we accomplish something, I want more.
Yeah. What's next?
Right. And it used to always be that the answer was more. And now I think that the answer is more like to be content. Right. And so like every day you got to be happy with what you have,
Yep.
but wake up and strive for more.
Yeah. Not being satisfied. But that's a good point, though. Your early years are your earning years. And I think that, people like us really understand that, and to really milk the most out of life is to get it done early. Because I feel like while you guys were working hard in your 20s and seems like, you're conditioning yourselves, flipping houses, I wasn't. I was doing the exact opposite. I thought I was going to be a rock star. So I was, just enjoying my 20s a little too much. And I think that's why I work so hard now, is because I kind of feel I need to double down. And had I had known or respected that type of mentality 10 years ago, who knows where I would have been. But maybe I wouldn't be here in front of you guys. So this is the part of the show where we try to, offer up some advice to new realtors, new people joining Revel, the new realtors out there who aren't joining Revel yet. What is kind of, one takeaway from your experiences on how a new realtor can kind of, come out crushing it?
Well, it's funny because yesterday, actually, I think going back to the buzz, they put a post out that basically said when the market shifts, most people think it's time to
I
change
saw that.
brokerages.
Yes.
And I kind of laughed at it because I thought to myself, yeah, that's what an individual who doesn't take responsibility for their self comes up as a solution, someone else's problem or someone
Right.
else's issues, why they're not succeeding. So because we're seeing the market shift, it is very important for realtors coming in to basically do what we say we do in the aspect of goal setting. When you do fail, analyze it, figure out where you went wrong, try to find a way to improve. And then you also have to be just willing to outwork. Like, we do take a lot of time now to travel and things like that, but we're always working. I'm poolside with my laptop.
We did a deal when you guys were out working in Florida.
Yeah.
There.
So it's like you have to be willing to work when others want to put their feet up and relax.
Yeah.
Like, my laptop is always on me. My phone is always on me. And like you said, like, we do still try to have some time that's us, but at the same time, I'm not going to let the opportunity to service my client go by because I want some time to myself is basically the mentality we have. So, I mean, realtors coming in need to know that they're going to have to work if they want to achieve success.
Yeah, and they've got to own it.
Yeah.
And own all of it.
Yeah, no matter what, like, every business is the same. It doesn't matter what business you get into. You could get into plumbing. You could go and start a law firm. It really doesn't matter. Like, there's always going to be that top kind of 10% taking home 90% of the income. That's just the reality. Those are stats. But I will bet, like, every dollar I got that if you go and look at that top 10% in any one of those categories, they're the ones working the hardest.
Yeah.
They're the ones.
There's no luck there.
They're the ones that have sacrificed the most. And so, like, if you truly want to grow a business, any business, doesn't matter what it is, I think it's absolutely essential that you dive into something that you love. First of all, like, if you don't enjoy it, you don't have a chance.
Yeah.
There's just no way. I've met successful people right across the board in so many different sports and businesses and everything else. And when you ask them a question about what it is they do, their face lights up and they tell you a story, right? You never get like, oh, pal, I don't want to talk about that right now. You know, it's not what it is.
I sell houses.
They love it. They're like, whoa, you asked me a question about what I'm passionate about? You're damn right, I'll tell you about
How much
this.
time you got?
Yeah. We start, like, I opened a law firm 20 years ago. Like, you want to go get a sandwich? Because I could tell you I got 3 hours worth of stories to tell you. Like, they're excited, right? And it's the same with me. People ask me, what do you think of the market? I'm like, whoa, sit down, pal. I got a story for you.
Yeah.
Like, I got something to say.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the same. You just stop by one of my job sites when I'm working on a house. Happens to me all the time. You know, got one over on Simcoe Street and people are walking by there, always curious, asking questions. I can't stop myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm happy to tell you what's going on. But I love it. And so we've chosen things that we love. We're doing it together. We're passionate about it, which makes it easy, right?
Yeah, it's definitely family venture.
Yeah, if you're diving into real estate because you think that this is a place where you're going to make a bunch of money and it's going to be easy, dive into anything. Like, they're all just as difficult. And trust me, there's 10% of people taking 90% of the income that don't want to give it to you.
Exactly. In every industry.
And if you're not willing to work and sacrifice and be better, you're just not getting a piece of it. And so definitely, like, you need to be passionate and enjoy what you're doing. I don't think this is an easy business just to jump into and get paid. But the smartest thing you could do if you're new in the business is join a team. We didn't do that. But technically we've always been a team together, leaning on each other.
Yeah.
But I look at the people that join teams and grow, like in our office, look at what Darcy Richardson did, like Emily Berry, man, like she does a great job on her team. Look at the people that have come out of her team. Look at you, Fine Estates team. You guys have had a ton of success. Paige was just nominated for Rookie of the Year. You know, I'll tell you.
Darcy was Rookie of the Year.
I'll tell you right now, if Paige didn't join your team, she's probably not in that position. Right. Because it makes a huge difference when you've got that team behind you, helping you, supporting you, coaching you, answering questions. Even just like you said, we're like going to the gym, you know, you're accountable to certain goals. Like when you join a team in real estate, you're accountable to certain goals. Right. And so I just think that those would be the two things. Like be weary. This is not a business where you just do nothing and get paid. Right. And if you don't love it, you might be in the wrong spot.
And sorry to jump in, but even just to join a team, like just because you're joining a team, it doesn't mean that your life is all of a sudden simple and you're getting free leads. In some respect, it's actually harder, but more rewarding because the opportunities are there. Yeah. But that accountability, like you said, is the biggest factor. Like, for example, my personal trainer, it's virtual. I don't even see him. We don't train together. It's just he checks in on my stats, and every week he sends me a video. And if I've done not so well that week, he's going to give me, you know what, on that call. And just knowing that makes me do my work and makes me want to do it because I want to avoid that type of conflict.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that if you join a good team, it should be much, much harder.
See.
It should be. You should be tested and you should be pushed.
Do you hear that, Final Stage team?
Yeah. But if you're not, then don't bother. Don't join a team. What team did you join? You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't, like in any sport or in anything, like sports are the best example for me. That's my background. So if you were to join a sports team, you want to join the best team and you want to be pushed. And that's the same with real estate. Join a team, get pushed, and get up every morning and chase those goals for sure.
I love it. Jessie, anything to add as we end this episode here?
No, that's about it.
I think you guys summed it up pretty well.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming on, guys. We really appreciate it. Catch us on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Buzzsprout. Is that a thing? I don't know. Apple Podcast. We're everywhere. Thanks for watching and listening.